afternoon, all. Today, we are joined by Mr. Vikash Sharma, a strategic AI and data science leader with over 15 years of global experience. Mr. Vikash has built analytics centers of excellence, driven data democratization, and helped organizations unlock real value from data at scale. He has led analytics transformations at Access Bank, FedEx, and Nielsen, building high performing global teams and delivering AI solutions across marketing, HR, supply chain, finance, revenue management, pricing, and promotions. Thank you, sir, for joining us today.
Thank you so much, Akusha.
So, to start with, can you walk us through your journey into analytics and AI? What first drew you in, and how did you evolve into a leader in this field?
Yeah, okay. So my journey is a bit unconventional in the sense that I did my MBA about 16 years back. And I actually started with Access Bank in a corporate finance role. Back then, we did not have separate department for analytics. It was the early stage. But I was lucky that I was around the time when they were setting up the business intelligence analytics function in Access Bank. So the first 3 years, I started with corporate banking, and we were looking at credit risk, accounting, analytics, delinquencies, which targets to go after. And then after 3 years, I decided that okay, this is probably the field that I would want to pursue long term. Now, some of the reasons were, I love the data crunching part, and it actually felt, and I felt of myself as somewhat like a detective, trying to uncover what's happening beneath, trying to uncover insights, get some actions out of it. So that was the motivating part for me. And then I thought, this also has the potential for me to learn multiple disciplines. So it's not just corporate banking. I could pretty much extend those foundational concepts across industries, and that's something that excited me. So the next couple of years, I moved into retail banking.
Okay.
So analytics for retail banking, for credit cards, debit cards, then looking cross sell penetration for savings accounts. We did a lot of product analytics, lifetime valuation, customer management, campaign promotions. So a lot of analytics around that. So that was the first 5 years, and then again, I would say lucky. They were setting up the GCC or Analytics COE for FedEx in India, in Mumbai. And I got the opportunity to be a part of that foundational team there. So the next about 7 years or so, I was working there in pricing analytics, revenue management, and digital marketing. So I started there as a senior analyst, but within a year I moved into a leadership role. So last a little more than last 10 years, I've been into leadership roles. We did a lot of problems for our internal stakeholders across the globe. So that was quite a good amount of learning, I would say, because we worked with the US markets, we worked with Europe, we worked with APAC. And in terms of learning, it was really great because we could see each region had its own share of problems, different ecosystems, different cultures, but the company internal culture was still common. There were so many things that they stood one as one entity, as a brand, and that kind of makes you learn a lot into how do you speak the same language yet solve different problems. So that was really great. Then about 4 years back, I wanted to come out of my comfort zone, try new things, and I actually ventured out into freelancing for the next 2 3 years. I kind of advised CXOs and independent organizations as analytics and AI consultants. And then last year I moved into Nielsen again. They were setting up a GCC here, and this was into audience measurement work. Looking at building AI, machine learning models, and supporting the data science enterprise for the company. So yeah, that's been my journey, and I have really enjoyed it. I would say I have been fortunate to be a part of foundational teams, to have got the opportunity leading high performing global teams, and still continue to learn and look forward.
That's amazing, sir. That's amazing. You have had varied experiences, and it was really amazing to hear you talk about it. So, moving forward, sir, from your vantage point, what emerging trends do you feel are genuinely ready now versus what are still the hype?
Yeah, so I think a lot of the traditional data science, machine learning, that is getting automated.
Yeah.
So that's something that's definitely changing. Uh, we are also building automated alerts, which was more of a project base earlier. Now, when we build models, we automatically look for features which will trigger the automated monitoring. We'll have alerts, early warning signals. We check for drifts, data drifts, model drifts. So those things are getting automated. They are a given now. It's table stakes now. Um, some of the new things that have come up, generative AI. Again, in the field of analytics, you have something like graph analytics. Okay, so again, I wouldn't say any of this is a hype. It is just that each of these disciplines are at a different stage of their maturity. In the last couple of years, generative AI started with building apps, then it moved to RAG, retrieval augmented generation, and now they have agentic software, and then we are slowly going to have much more of workflow automation as well. So it's just at which part of the maturity stage it is in. Same, I think, for graph analytics, we will see a lot more applications where they bring in social media along with enterprise data. A lot of those integrations are happening and will be happening. So yeah, these are some of the latest trends that I have been watching out in the industry.
That's a really unique perspective. So, sir, you have been part of a leadership program, or like you have been leading for past quite some years. So, what according to you are some high performing, which some high performing global teams require in terms of leadership, which are not just the technical skills? Like other than technical skills, according to you, what more should a leader look in someone they are either recruiting for a leadership position or something they should have?
Yeah, so first of all, I would say, curiosity. I think that's super important. Um your eagerness to learn about multiple teams, multiple functions. At a leadership level, you will be engaging with all different kinds of stakeholders. How eager are you to learn more about them, their challenges? That is very important. And the more you learn, the more you realize how less you know,
Yeah.
how where things could fail, what things could go wrong, how each action does have a long-term impact, and that kind of brings in a lot of humility. So I would say curiosity and then humility. Those two are very important. Uh, Also, when you are handling high performing teams, there is always a balance you need to maintain between giving support and direction. A lot of times you will have team members that are fairly experienced, maybe more experienced than you. And they would know the best way to how to solve problems. At that point, you would just have to give them support. At other times, your team members will be looking forward or looking up to you for direction, and that's when you step up and provide direction. So how do you maintain that balance?
Yeah.
So that you are there to provide support and direction as needed? Think those are some of the key traits, I would say. It's very important. Also, when you are communicating with your team, with your leaders, with your stakeholders, your listening skills are very important. How much of your conversation are you spending in listening? How much are you spending in reflecting? And how much are you talking? That is very important. I think that really goes along with some of the best leaders that we really truly admire. They spend a lot of time on listening. So those things are really important.
That is definitely true. I totally agree with all the points you have mentioned, like curiosity, humbleness, and the ability to listen. These are some three very crucial points even we learn in our courses. So, sir, if you have to recommend one book, podcast, or a movie that genuinely changed the way you think about technology or leadership, what would it be?
Yeah, and so yeah, that's a tricky question. Yeah, but I mean, I would say one book that I read in the early days of my leadership career that really influenced me was The Five Dysfunctions of a Team. It talks about five things that could go wrong and that are very key to building a team. I think it starts about building trust within the team, Then how do you resolve conflict within the team? How do you make the team commit to a common goal? How do you hold each other accountable within the team, and how do you focus on results? So it's a very nifty playbook for anyone who wants to lead a high performing global team. And I would also say one web series I really like watching. It's an old web series now called Madam Secretary.
Okay.
This came in quite a few years back, and at that time there weren't many shows which had the female character as the lead protagonist. I mean, a lot of them followed after that, but at that time it was quite refreshing and new take. We didn't have many of those. Why I find it truly inspirational is there are a lot of messages for leadership. Okay, in that web series, the story typically begins with the main lead character. She becomes a secretary of state, but everyone around is more experienced than that.
Okay.
So how does she rise up to that challenge? Uh, you know, she makes a lot of wrong decisions, failures, but then how does she learn from that? And those were, I had a few parallels with my personal journey, because when I, inherited my first team as a leader, I was one of the youngest people on the team. There were many people who were like 10, 15 years older than me. So it kind of, I got a lot of lessons. How can you truly treat people with trust and respect and still get things done within a team. So yeah, I think that was truly inspirational. There are a lot of situations where you'll have ethical dilemmas to work for. You will work with people with conflicting ideas. You cannot keep everyone happy. But what's most important is how do you do justice to your role? How do you do the things which are right? So yeah, I think those were a couple of things that really inspired me in my journey.
That's really interesting. I'll make sure to check both of those out. I think I'll also enjoy that a lot. So, sir, for aspiring analytics leaders, what would you say are critical experiences or mindsets that they should aim to build?
Okay. Yeah. So one advice I usually give to people is that when you move into an organization, authority is something that the organization will naturally give you by virtue of your role, but leadership is something that you give to yourself. You do not need to be in a particular position to emerge as a leader. Okay, so believe more in yourself. Think about what difference you can make to the organization, what impact you can create, what legacy you can create. The more you do that, everyone watches you and takes cues from you. So the way you put yourself across, that is going to be a story for everyone else to learn from. So believe in yourself. That's very important. Yeah, that I think goes a long way. Uh, some of the other things, understand that AI is not a demigod. It will not solve all your problems. It will not also give you direction. Okay, I mean, it might give you direction in certain problems, but the decision making has to be done by you. So that's something keep in mind, that critical thinking, decision making, these are things that will set you apart. These are things where you will always have the edge. There are if you want to make a career in analytics and AI, there are multiple areas. I mean, so say one could be where you are in building products, investing on the tech side. Second could be you are building on the product side. You are managing the products. You are managing customer experience, customer management. And third could be you are building on the business side, the strategy side, bringing systems in together, systems which talk to AI, which take away from AI. You have to decide at the end of the day what appeals to you. Where do you want to build your career? It is about your story. So spend that time on self-reflection. Try to figure out what you enjoy doing, because that is what is going to hold you up and strong in this field.
That's really insightful. And sir, I completely agree when you say like you need to believe in yourself, because unless we believe that we can achieve something, no one else is going to.
Absolutely.
So moving on to something personal. If you weren't in AI or data science, what alternative career do you think you would have pursued?
Okay. Yeah. So one thing is for sure, whichever field I would have been, it would have to do with data, because that is one thing I have
Enjoyed a
enjoyed all
lot.
through my life. Okay, and I know today I see, when we are in meetings with CXOs, even they are, very savvy with data, very savvy with numbers. So I think whichever field I would have been, it would have been around data analysis. Maybe I would have been in L&D field, because I think, in my career, I have closely mentored and worked with a lot of people, helping them grow. And that entire journey of helping them grow, excel, grow, and do bigger things in life, that journey has been one of the most satisfying experiences of my professional life. So I think by L&D, I can probably do that much more. Also, I think in current scenario, with AI and analytics, everything coming in, those paradigms of learning in corporate ecosystem, regarding leadership, communication, productivity, collaboration, all these things are undergoing a lot of changes now. The way you collaborate with AI, the way you communicate, keeping AI as a assistant, a lot of things you need to reskill, you need to upskill.
Yeah.
How are we, making sure that our L&D teams are able to do that? Do they have the ability, or
The
are they getting enough
resources.
support to train themselves? Are we empowering L&D enough to do that? So maybe that is something I would have loved to work on. If not,
That's really interesting. And I'm glad that even if you had to take an alternative career, you would still choose something so similar to what you're doing right now. So that's really nice. So, sir, the next question is something I think people in my position who are currently pursuing MBA and others from my batch will be quite interested in. So, sir, if you could go back and give your younger self one piece of advice when you began your analytics career, what would it be?
hmm. Yeah, yeah. One thing would be that, be more bold and entrepreneurial. Uh, Try to build more products, or iterate more ideas. So the way I grew up learning, and many of us, we have learned things bottoms up. So you start from learning one concept, and then you understand where how do you apply in one scenario, and then you try to build it up. That's not the only way of learning. There are multiple ways you can get into big projects, hard projects, and then pick up things along the way. That's something that I did not learn upfront. I learned it the hard way. So yeah, maybe I would have been more. I would want to be more bold, more entrepreneurial. Try out big projects. Not be afraid of failure. I think that's the other thing. It's okay to fail. In today's world, everything is changing so fast. No one knows everything. So if no one knows everything and everything is changing, I think it's fine to fail. So don't be afraid to fail, but be quick to learn. That's very important. So yeah, and one thing I would say that, that focus on mental health. I think that's very important, because this field changes very fast, and with change, you have this constant need to upskill, learn, and that might bring with it a lot of anxiety. So
Yeah.
how you maintain your inner peace and calm, that's very important. So yeah, that's also focus on mental health is what I would say.
That's really nice. And what you mentioned about failing, this is something which is nowadays, I think people do talk about that you should fail fast. And from each of your failures, as long as you're learning something, you are going forward.
Absolutely.
So, thank you so much, sir, for joining us today and sharing your insightful knowledge and guidance. And I'm sure whatever we have discussed will be very helpful for people in my batch, people who are pursuing MBA, and overall, whoever's viewing the channel. I think they'll learn a lot from what we have discussed.
Sure. Yeah. Thank you so much, Anusha. I think those were really insightful questions, and I hope I did justice to them. But yeah, I wish
Yeah.
you and your batch all the best of luck.
Thank you, sir.